Hello? Greg? Greg, where are you?
So, you must be the new kid. Listen closely. This YouTube channel is a freaking hellscape. You need to follow my tips in order to survive. Tip number 1. Don't be a jag. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Tip number 2. The host of this channel has some kind of mind control. He'll probably make you buy condiments and have him pour them on your head. I don't know how he does it, but I respect it. Tip number 3. Whatever you do, under any circumstances, do not shit talk Shane McMahon. He is the best in the world. If you follow these tips, then you'll survive. Good luck, new kid. What up, Beans guys? It's Greg Cherry, along with Ella J, and we have a special video for you today. We are both fans of the YouTube channel Smosh, and we are also professional wrestling fans. So that begs the question, if you compare the two, which Smosh cast members represent which WWE superstars? Ella, I had some trouble with this, at least a couple of them. How about you?
Yeah, there was definitely some that were very easy. Then there was like 2 or 3. I'm like, you could be so many people or nobody at all just because their personality is like well-rounded and not like defined by like 1 or 2 things. So for the most part, I think I did pretty good, but there was definitely 2 or 3 where I had to really think, and even some that I'm still not even sure about that I'm interested to kind of compare to yours.
Yeah, I struggled with a few of them, especially the first couple we're going to go over, but I feel like I kind of typecast the first 2. I think you'll see what I mean when we get to that. First off, we're going to kick off with one of the owners of Smosh, and that is Ian Hecox. Ian is quite the unique personality. So this one was a little tougher for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't exactly pin it down, but I feel like I took a cheap way out. I made Ian Hecox the general manager of Monday Night Raw, Adam Pearce.
Oh, you know what? That's totally valid.
Because, like, Adam Pearce is a little bit, especially lately, a little bit unhinged.
Yeah.
And a little chaotic, but he's still in charge. And I kind of felt like that vibe kind of fit Ian a little bit. I don't know if I'm stretching at all, but what do you think? What do you have for Ian? Because that one was tough.
I didn't go the authority figure route, but I like how you went with that. You know, Ian is obviously somebody who's been there since the very beginning. You know, I love him. There's no getting rid of him. You know, that's his brand. He's been there forever. He can make everybody laugh. He is unpredictable. Everybody loves him. So for me, he's our truth. You know, he's been there forever. He can make anybody laugh. I think he can make anybody break character, and he's versatile in his characters. He can make you laugh. He can dress up as, you know, weird, like, I remember thinking, like, R-Truth, like, dressing up as a member of the Constitution, like, army and all that, like, that's Ian, is R-Truth. But I guess you do have a point. He is, like, R-Truth's not really an authority figure, but he definitely has the tenure and experience of one.
I can see that. I have R-Truth later on the list, but it's not for Ian, and it's not for the next person either. The next one is the other owner of Smosh, Anthony Padilla. Now, Anthony went away for a little while, but he just recently, in the last year or so, came back, and I feel like, again, I took the cheap way out. I made Ian the Raw general manager. I made Anthony the SmackDown general manager, Nick Aldis. So, again, and it was a little tougher for me because I feel like Anthony's a little more laid back, and Nick Aldis kind of has that vibe in comparison to Adam Pearce, especially. But Yeah, I feel like I took the cheap way out on that one too.
The person I picked isn't necessarily laid back. They can definitely be fiery. I think they're definitely laid back more in real life. But you mentioned, Anthony is one who left for many years and then came back again as a leader. That for me is definitionally CM Punk. So like for me, Anthony was the easiest. Somebody who's left, who came back, who's kind of back in charge again, of CM Punk.
I mean, that's a solid choice. Like, your reasoning is solid. Way better than mine, if we're being honest. Next up, we have Keith Leak Jr. Now Keith is somebody who has also been there for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's very tenured, and he is very beloved by the cast.
Yes.
And that's why I made Keith R-Truth. Because he has that longevity, he has the ability to make people laugh, and everybody loves him. Like, you can't find people who are going to say a bad thing about Keith. So that's why I went R-Truth there.
I picked somebody. Keith is also one who isn't afraid to be loud, kind of similar to Angela. We'll get to her later. But like you said, Keith is definitely, he has that like infectious laughter. He has a big personality. He also can be loud. Kind of maybe similar. I picked Big E. You feel the power of, although I will say Keith is not always the most positive sometimes when they're playing some of the games. But he definitely has that loud personality, and like even if he's like shit talking you can't like help but like not love him at the same time.
Exactly. Keith is one of those that's just, and Keith's a little awkward too. Like he but it's okay because you love him. Next up, we have somebody who, this was another challenging one for me because this could go any direction. We're talking about Olivia Sui here. And she is just such an enigma and different. So I couldn't find anybody on Raw or SmackDown, so I had to go down to NXT to find Olivia's. I went Thea Hale. And Thea to me is a little crazy, but entertaining in the same vein. Yeah. It's not this, like, Olivia's not crazy, but she's just so out there that I don't know. Do you really have a good definition for that? And again, Olivia was a hard one for me to choose, but I went Thea for that.
She was an easier one for me. Like you said, she has that kind of that dichotomy where she can be like super wild, sometimes feral, like a Thea Hale can, but then at other times she can appear like sweet and like really soft spoken, but also like dry humor sometimes. So I went with someone who's very unpredictable, can be feral, but then at other times they've been really sweet. That's Liv Morgan. So appears maybe sweet on the surface, but then can be really feral or really dry and kind of just they're fitting their own hole. I was like, that's Liv Morgan.
That's perfect rationale. I love that choice. Next up is somebody who has also been around the Smosh channel for a very long time, Noah Grossman.
Since he was like 19, or like he's the same age as me. He's been there for 10 years. He's been there since he was like 18, I think.
That's crazy that he's been around that long. So I went with somebody else who has been around a long time.
Okay.
And maybe somebody who's not exactly appreciated for the longevity as much as like an R-Truth, but somebody who has always been there, always been reliable. I went The Miz for Noah.
Well, I have The Miz for somebody else. That's interesting. Do you have like for me, Noah's kind of like the opposite of The Miz. Like personality-wise.
He's not as like boisterous. Like I'm not thinking like A-lister Miz.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking like a little bit more reserved, or even babyface Miz. Because babyface Miz, like, you took him a little more seriously, but he was still, I don't know. Maybe The Miz is not a great choice, but again, like, some of these were tougher for me. What did you have?
When I think of Noah, I think of that cousin who, and I say this like I love Noah, but when I think of him, I think of as that awkward cousin that has that dry humor, but also can be unpredictable and sometimes surprise you with the things that they say. And I know he's technically not with WWE right now, but like Dean Ambrose like was so like just unique in himself. He could be funny, but like he would have it with a deadpan on his face, and he was also like socially awkward, like single star era Dean Ambrose, like maybe like 2015 2016. That for me, like chaotic but like also dry humor, and awkward but also unpredictable. So I went with Dean Ambrose. Like 2015 2016 Dean Ambrose for me kind of fits Noah.
That's a good shot. I was trying to stick to a lot of the current roster.
Yeah,
I would have gone a little bit more in depth, but for me there really wasn't anybody else in current WWE that fit with Noah. But somebody I had, this was probably one of my easier ones, this next one, somebody who has also been around a long time, Damien Haas. Damien to me was pretty straightaway choice for me. I chose somebody who is hilarious and also quite nerdy. I went Xavier Woods.
I think Xavier for somebody else.
There's some overlap, but especially because Xavier has actually been on Smosh.
Yeah.
So seeing the two of them interact with each other, they have a lot of similar characteristics. So I found that connection to be a little stronger than some of the rest of them. What about you?
I also, Damien, he's a veteran. He has that kind of nerdy passion. He's kind of like understated, very not reserved, but like definitely on the lower bar out of the people like standing out, like personality wise. He's more lax and kind of chill. But he's very dedicated to his gaming and he's very nerdy. I chose Daniel Bryan because I feel like Daniel Bryan is nerdy, and at one point Damien like had the shaggy hair that kind of reminded me of Daniel Bryan. The way that Bryan loves nature, I feel like Damien loves his video games. And they can be intense when it comes to that specific thing, but otherwise I feel like they're like chill and very cheerful. So like Daniel Bryan, WWE.
There you go. Another person that I was able to connect pretty quickly, Amanda Lee Hancanto. This one, for me, I think is a slam dunk. This might be the first one we match on.
Probably.
Maybe. I went Raquel Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
I guess you didn't, but Raquel Rodriguez to me is somebody who, the height is one thing. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Amanda is the tall one of the group. But also, like, just this badass personality. And just, she looks like she can mesh out pretty good. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with Amanda, but she's somebody who is also, like, loyal. And, you see a little bit more of a personality with Raquel in the Judgment Day. So I think the two of them are more alike than anybody else. Who do you have?
Amanda was one that didn't stand out glaringly at first, but when I think of Amanda, I think of like mom for some reason. Maybe it's because she's tall and she's very fun and she seems like look out for everybody, and maybe it's like Smosh Mouth, she's told a lot of stories, and so like a lot about her. So when I think of mom, I think of Bailey, like giving that mom energy, like trusted veteran, maybe somebody who's wise around. Maybe she's not the most tenured, but she seems very wise and soft spoken and like just gives mom energy. And for me, Bailey does as well. Like proud mom energy. Like those are her. She said it too. Like those are her kids.
That's very fair. That's a good shout, picking Bailey. Next up, we have somebody who is a more recent addition to the Smosh cast, Chance McCrary. For me, I went very recent with this, and somebody who has gotten wildly popular over his theme song.
Oh, I have him as somebody else. Go on.
You have Kit Wilson as somebody else?
Yes.
Yeah, I went Kit Wilson with Chance. I have an idea who you went Kit Wilson with. For me, Chance is just over the top charismatic, and Kit is very much in that same vein. And I don't know whether Kit is going to be one of those talents that jumps above everybody else because of just how wildly over the top he is. But Chance has this ability to not only be taken seriously, but just be the most ridiculous person on screen. So who do you have, Ella?
I might be biased a little bit because I know her personally, but you mentioned somebody who's very over the top and can like have very expressive way of talking and facial expressions. But also, I feel like Chance is someone who you want to spill the tea and the gossip with, and for me, that's Chelsea Green. I feel like she is, and like they're both like over the top, and they can be their comedic timing is hilarious, but also they're both people that like I want to sit down and gossip with, honestly. And so I chose Chelsea Green, like current Chelsea, like comedy era Chelsea for Chance.
There you go. Solid choice. All right. Next up, we have Arasha Lalani. And you said you had trouble.
Yeah, hers was probably the hardest because I feel like she's like well-rounded. She doesn't have like I can't say that. She's well-rounded. She doesn't fit in like any like stereotype or like typecast, I feel like. But ultimately I went with somebody who she's very well spoken, you know. She hosts a lot of especially on the Smosh Games channel. She's been hosting a lot of that, which kind of gives like authority vibes, but can also be kind of funny. I chose Stephanie McMahon. She can be calm and articulate, and like, you know, she's hosting the games, which gives Stephanie, I guess maybe when she was GM or, you know, she shows up and is like announcing stuff. Arasha fits into that role a lot, but also Stephanie did some crazy stuff in her era, so she's kind of dynamic and well-rounded in that way. She's not just one thing, kind of like versatile. So I chose Stephanie McMahon, but Arasha was definitely one because she's so complex that it was hard to figure out like one person that like she like definitely aligns with, you know. But I chose Stephanie ultimately.
I support the Stephanie. I went Alexa Bliss for Arasha, and like you said, she's a very dynamic, very talented, like multi-talented performer, and can wear a lot of hats. And you figure with Alexa, you know, being the goddess, being, you know, under the spell of Bray Wyatt, and what she's doing now with Charlotte, like she is all over the place performer. So I figured Alexa was the perfect person for Arasha. This next one is honestly the reason I made this video, because I feel like there is no more over-the-top person than Angela Giarratana.
Yeah.
Angela is probably my favorite Smosh cast member. And she is just wild and over the top. And I mentioned this to you before we started.
Yeah.
I have two people. One of them is a WWE Hall of Famer. One of them is currently on the roster. So I went specifically for the voice alone. I went Ivory. She very much, especially the tone of voice she uses, reminds me of Ivory a lot. And personality, I went with somebody who is completely unhinged. Nikki Cross.
Oh, you know what? That's a good shout.
Yeah, I went, and that's probably because I went Thea with Olivia earlier. But Nikki Cross is just completely wild. And Angela has zero hesitation for anything, really. So, yeah, between Ivory and Nikki Cross, you have Angela Giarratana.
If this wasn't a WWE specific one, I would personally pick Harley Cameron. Because they are both loud and they have like, they're not afraid to be crazy and have themselves look goofy and all of that. I originally, just because I know Angela is definitely the loudest, like, you know, whether she's right or wrong, and she has that comedic timing, and she isn't afraid to like make fun of herself. I originally chose The Miz, but you mentioned Thea Hale, and I feel like Thea like also fits that. So like I guess I have three people for her. Like I would choose like Harley Cameron, The Miz, and like Thea Hale for her. Like there's so many different characters that she could be.
She is absolutely a combination of multiple people.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Tommy Bow, which Tommy was somebody who, surprisingly, I was able to come up with somebody really quickly.
He was one that I struggled with, to be honest.
And this is somebody who is also over the top, very charismatic, and hilarious. I went Seth Rollins.
Ding, ding, ding. We
finally matched. Wow. It took us like 12 people, but we
I
finally
know.
managed. Yeah, Seth Rollins is just, especially with what he's been doing the last few years, just wild costumes, over the top actions, entertaining as all get out, and that is Tommy in a nutshell.
I have to admit, my first thought, just looks alone, I cannot get over the Rick Rude mustache. That was my first thought, was like, based on looks alone, I was like, the Rick Rude mustache, but like the Seth Rollins like personality, like the over the top garments. He has no trouble hosting stuff. Yeah, once I thought about it deeper beyond the Rick Rude stuff, I was like, oh, like Seth Rollins, duh. But he was one that took me a minute to get. But yes, I definitely agree. Seth Rollins is definitely the closest amongst the WWE people.
Can you imagine Tommy coming out with even half the stuff that Seth Rollins wears?
I would love it.
All right, next up, he's not the Chosen that we're talking about, but we are talking about Spencer Agnew. And Spencer is one of those that is just... He is low-key funny because he's able to do it so smoothly. He's able to be fit into so many places. This was an interesting one. I went Dominic Mysterio for Spencer.
Okay.
Because Dominic has been somebody who's improved so much over the last few years. Spencer as well. Spencer is seamlessly transitioned to be a member of the cast. And it's just... I think Spencer's going to do even bigger things for Smosh. I think Dominic's going to do even bigger things for WWE. The two of them, I feel like, are on the same path.
Okay. I went Sami Zayn. They both got the heavy beard, kind of shaggy hair going on. They're both soft-spoken and seem really smart too. And Sami Zayn definitely brings his heart, and he's definitely had some funny moments as well, you know. And I feel like Spencer has that same thing where he's not like the biggest personality out there, but he definitely has his heart, and he can be funny on occasions, even maybe when he doesn't intend to be. And just like can't get beyond like the butch like beard look. Like that to me, Sami Zayn is Spencer.
I mean, I feel like Sami's a good choice. I can't disagree because between the two of them, like imagine like Spencer like running a bloodline angle as
yeah, like I could like he's like not someone you would expect that could be really funny and carry something, but he does. Like he will like pleasantly surprise you and be able to like make you laugh really hard, I feel like.
I agree. Next up is formerly, I mean, I guess he's still a Mythical Kitchen, but he's also part of the Smosh cast.
Yeah. Trevor.
And this one, for me, I kind of went more with looks than personality, but personality kind of matches. I went Grayson Waller. Because Grayson is one of those people that is just hilarious and kind of dumb at times. And not saying Trevor's dumb, but like the two of them, both of them are just completely on another level of humor. Yeah. Maybe not the same level of humor as like everybody else, but like they have their own specific brand that makes them funny.
You know what's funny is I went like, if we're going like looks wise, I went total opposite. For me, when I think of Trevor, I think he's like endearing and innocent, cheerful, kind of has this wholesome awkwardness going on. Not necessarily that he would go hardcore, but like I think of Mick Foley, like he's like an endearing awkwardness and like seems, I can't believe I'm putting innocent in Mick Foley, but like beyond like the blood and stuff, but like he's one of the most cheerful, beloved characters. Like I think of Mick Foley when I think of Trevor in that regard. Not that I don't see Trevor jumping off cages and all of that, but like the beloved nature, he's endearing and innocent. I feel like everybody loves him. You mentioned maybe sometimes kind of dumb, maybe jumping off of a cage. Maybe that's a little bit like that. But yeah, I thought of Mick Foley for Trevor, like for the beloved kind of personality, not so much the hardcore bloody stuff. But yeah.
It's probably more either current Mick Foley or Commissioner Mick Foley rather than, deathmatch Mick Foley. Yeah. We're down to our final two, and who better to finish our final two than probably the two most popular members of Smosh. Yeah. First of all, Courtney Miller. Not Courtney freaking Miller, but Courtney Miller. And you had this woman earlier. I figure that Courtney is a lot like Chelsea Green. I have Courtney as Chelsea just because of the over-the-top. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite Courtney bits is Boneless.
Yeah.
And that one, for some reason, I could see Chelsea doing that kind of ridiculous stuff. She said it herself. She will do anything she has to do with her character to get on TV. And, Courtney is very much the same way. Courtney has some very unhinged moments in Try Not to Laugh, as well as other bits. But I just found the similarities there. There are too many of them to ignore.
I mentioned this. Well, you mentioned this person earlier. I chose Kit Wilson for Courtney. I feel like they're both eccentric. They have similar fashion. They love crop tops and they don't mind bending gender norms. I mean, if you know the lore about Courtney, she's kind of had this interesting journey with her gender identity and stuff like that. And I feel like, not that we've outwardly seen it with Kit Wilson, but in his presentation, he's definitely pushing the gender norms, wearing crop tops. He even in his theme song, we're talking about like the toxic masculinity and all that. I feel like personality wise and like looks wise, they're both eccentric, great fashion, and like they don't fit in one box. They love expressing themselves, and for me, there's no bigger person who does that than Courtney.
I mean, I figure for that, it could be either Kit Wilson or it could have been Elton Prince.
Yeah.
Or either member.
Yeah.
Or a combination.
Yeah.
And finally, we get to Smosh at 99%. We get to the one and only Shane Top. And for me, this was the easiest one. Shane
Same, but different. Mm-hmm.
But are we going to have the same person? We've
only not, because I mentioned that I had this person for somebody else earlier that you already had them for. So, yeah.
Okay. So, I figure I took the easy way out. I went Cody Rhodes. Because Cody, well, he's not the WWE champion anymore, at least of the airing of this video.
Yeah.
Shane is somebody who's kind of seen as the face of Smosh. And Cody Rhodes has very much been that the last couple of years. So with WWE, I thought it was an easy transition. They're both wildly popular, and there's a reason that people tune into a lot of those, a lot of the videos for Smosh and a lot of the programming for WWE. I'm interested to see who you have matched up for Shane.
Similar, not the quarterback of WWE, but the quarterback of Up Up Down Down. Xavier Woods. Shane hosts probably like 75% of the videos at this point, and him and Xavier Woods both have a psychology degree. I remember Shane graduating. So they both have the psychology degree. They're both funny. They are both basically the main hosts for a lot of the shows. Obviously, Woods is the leader of Up Up Down Down. I feel like Shane is kind of the unofficial face of Smosh as well. So for that reason, I chose Shane.
I mean, that makes...
Or I chose Xavier.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I can totally see the rationale. Which WWE Superstar do you think best represents each of those different cast members? Comment below and like and subscribe and shit. And always remember, a YouTuber never faps. Don't be a jag.